Allô, Nissan? Hey, grosse tempête, hein?
Hey, Karine, oui, je sais, les vilains bonhommes de neige sont de retour.
Mais avec le Nissan Rogue à traction intégrale, c'est pas stressant.
Exact, il est conçu et testé pour nos hivers. Oh, Karine, il y a un bonhomme dans le Rogue.
Ah, c'est correct. J'ai allumé les sièges chauffants.
Ah, bien joué, Karine. Maîtrisez toutes les conditions. Louez le Rogue S 2026 à partir de 0,4% jusqu'à 36 mois, incluant une réduction fidélité de 0,5% pour les clients Nissan admissibles. Jusqu'au 2 mars, sur approbation de crédit, les conditions s'appliquent. Détails chez Nissan.
Coming up after this program will be Bill Carroll between noon and 2. I'm sure he's going to cover Prime Minister Trudeau and what we saw in the testimony. And the Prime Minister also taking some questions. As we end off this hour here, he's taking some questions, and I'm sure Bill Carroll will have some coverage of that coming up at noon. Natasha Hall, by the way, at 2 p.m. as we end off your week right with the Natasha Hall Show and the Aaron Rand Show on CJAD 800. For now, let's talk about Montreal's skylines. And you may have noticed this. There are vineyards popping up across the Montreal skyline. With more on this, let's join Veronique Lemieux. She is the founder of Vignes en Ville. Hi, Veronique. How you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Tell me about your project. What is it?
Yes, so first and foremost, Vignes en Ville is a research project on crushed glass in collaboration with the ACQ. So it all started in 2016 when I submitted the idea of a rooftop urban vineyard in circular economy to test crushed glass as a soils medium. And the project went forward.
This is amazing, Veronique. I had no idea about this whole crushed glass idea. Tell me more about this. How does this even come up as where was the thought process that this is something we could use here?
Yes. So the thought process, well, it's maybe personal experience, I would say, because I lived in China, and in China, the sand is a very scarce resource because of all the buildings that are constructed, in the mega cities. So I knew that was a problem. Then when I came back to live in Quebec and I asked, is it a problem here? They were like, no, actually it's not a problem, but we didn't know that it was non-renewable, resource. So, and on the other hand, crushed glass is a very abundant resource in urban settings. So I just thought, why not switch one by the other one?
And then you take another problem we have is, rooftops in this city. A lot of people say they're underutilized, that we could be doing a lot more for the environment and using our rooftops. So tell me a bit about that aspect.
Yes.
How are you picking the spots and finding the spots for this?
Well, finding the spots. Well, why rooftops first, because rooftops are an important source of heat in cities. And so abundant foliage helps in decreasing the heat island effect. And the grapevine is perfect for that because it requires very little water, very little fertilizer, and it does a great job, at cooling its environment. So how did we get all those spots? Well, I guess the first one was Palais des Congrès de Montréal. That is already an experimental firm. So they had a part of the roof that was available. So we started like that. And then when the ACQ embarked in the project, they also had some spots that they wanted us to use. And then ITHQ contacted us. Then Ubisoft arrived into the project. And the latest one is the Centrale Agricole.
Wow. You know what? I got to say, Veronique, this sounds like a home run for so many reasons. So, I guess wine wasn't at the forefront at the beginning. But now, now I'm told that, we got some wine out of this.
Exactly. So that was a big surprise for myself. Well, because I decided the varietals that I planted are varietals that I knew could actually give good grapes for wine. But it was, more of a dream than something that could be reality. But then on our third year on the Palais des Congrès, we invited a very famous œnologist, Richard Bastien, and he came and he told us, oh my God, you have something very decent here. You should pick it up right away and try to make some wine out of it. So we did.
Veronique, it sounds awesome, and now you've got a batch of wine. That's what we've got out of this?
Yes. Well, actually, so we had only one site, so it didn't give many bottles. We ended up having approximately 30 bottles, but we wanted to practice because when I got to know that we were able to make wine, we had to purchase the equipment and then and practice because at first I'm more like a viticulturist, not
yes.
someone who makes wine, so it's a different set of skills. So we gave it a shot, and actually it ended up being quite surprisingly nice.
What kind of wine?
It was a sparkling rosé.
Oh, perfect for the summer, too.
Yes, and the reason why we decided to make it into a sparkling, it's because it's fun and we like to drink sparkling wine, but also because usually when the vines are are as young as 3 years old, the wine that comes out of them tends to be acidic. So to make sure that we didn't end up with acidic wine, we decided to make it into bubbles, because when we make it into bubble, we actually need the acidity to have a great sparkling.
Veronique, we are out of time, but it is not lost on me that if it were not for COVID-19, this interview would have happened in studio, and you would have brought some sparkling rosé, and it would have been even better. But you know what? Regardless, this was a great interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Veronique,
have a great day.
Thank you too, and you as well, Veronique.